Welcome to episode 12 of the Pitch In for Baseball and Softball webcast, with a special focus today on disaster relief. With Hurricane Ida recently ravaging the East Coast, many youth baseball and softball leagues are left in disrepair. I'm joined today by Dakota Hill, Junior Olympic Commissioner for USA Softball of Louisiana. Dakota, thanks so much for taking the time today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Kirsten.
Well, can you first set the scene a little bit for us and tell us about the storms that you in Louisiana have dealt with over the past couple of years, and specifically what areas around you have been affected?
Well, first off, I'm going to apologize if the viewers hear loud crashing and stuff. The debris removal people on the highway are out picking up the debris from my ditch right now. We got a bunch of trees and stuff, so that's been happening all morning. But that pretty much just really tells the story. It's just so much stuff that's happened just between 2020, really between, I'd say, late August 2020 to now. Louisiana's had 4 Category 2 or above hurricanes, 2 of which had 150 plus mile an hour winds and were Category 4s. At the top end of the Cat 4 scale, Hurricane Laura, which hit extreme western Louisiana and went right back up through southwest and central and northeast Louisiana. And then Hurricane Ida, which hit back exactly 16 years to the day of Hurricane Katrina on August 29th, which was kind of crazy. That hit south of me. The Hurricane I actually went over my house. I live just east of Baton Rouge, and I've never experienced anything like that. My area, we had 110 mile an hour sustained winds and gusts of over 120 miles an hour. It was really a scary night. There's still people that I know down south Louisiana, Thibodaux, Houma, and down southeast of there, like Lockport, Golden Meadow and stuff, that still don't have power. They're being told maybe Thanksgiving, the Christmas time, they may get power. So, I'm very fortunate that I got power 18 days after the storm. Very thankful for that because my air conditioner works, and with it being 94 degrees outside, it's great to have the air conditioner working, to say the least. But there's so many people that aren't this lucky. I was down in a place called Vacherie, Louisiana, and in Gramercy over the weekend, and talking to the people down there, and there was so many people that lost everything, lost all their lives and stuff, as far as pictures and stuff. And I know some people that actually lost their life down that way. Sad situation, and it's just really hard to see. And there was people that were down there at the little league and stuff, little football thing I was at, that told me, that they're living in hotel rooms and they're just starting to get FEMA trailers in, little campers and stuff for them to stay in, because their houses, they said there's literally not a trace left of them. And it just makes you cry. And a lot of different schools and rec leagues and stuff have been sending me pictures of the damage and stuff they've sustained all around the area. And I was up looking at them last night, some of the new ones I'd gotten in, and I was just crying because of, those places I've personally been and seen. And just to see what it looks like right now is just, it's unreal. And it's sad because, down here, we have a lot of impoverished areas and people that don't really have too much money. And there's a lot of areas that what money they do have, they try to split up between all the sports and stuff. And a lot of the softball fields, baseball fields and stuff, they just don't have the funding and stuff that you would see in major areas. So whenever you see these facilities that are really down and stuff and destroyed, messed up, it really affects you because how hard these people work to get these things going. A park director from down at Houma sent me some pictures of their relatively new ballpark that they built. And I was just at this place back in July. And his comment to me in the email was, Dakota, when I pulled up that after the storm, he said, I just started crying because all the hard work and stuff we put into getting this thing built, and to see what it looks like now. All the fences were down, dugouts were destroyed. I mean, it's really, unless you're down here and you're able to see it firsthand, the pictures don't really do it justice.
You mentioned a little bit already about how some of the youth baseball and softball leagues in your area and the schools have really suffered a lot of damage from these storms in the last 2 years. What would you say are the most affected areas? Are there some that were hit harder than others? Can you give us some example and paint the picture a little bit of what they're dealing with?
Yeah, there are definitely areas that were harder hit than others. Down the bayou, south, Terrebonne, Lafourche parishes, pretty much anywhere the eye wall went, which went from, I believe it hit Port Fouchon and came all the way up. And like I said, it came right over my house here in Livingston Parish. It's just a trail of devastation, trail of destruction. I've been getting pictures from down in Ascension Parish from a park called Butch Gore Park. I was just looking at pictures from, and it's just unreal to see, dugouts tore up, trees on fences, scoreboards wrapped around posts. I was talking to my friends down in Lockport, Louisiana, which is down where it was still Category 4 strength when it came through down towards the Gulf. And there's a little league down there that I've helped out with the past several years. And I mean, it's just really disappointing to see, how bad it is down there. I had hoped that, it wouldn't be as bad, but it is. I was talking to a athletic director last week at Riverside High School, which is down in Laplace area in Reserve. And that area flooded really badly. And he said, right now, football season. So he was giving an example with the football team. He's the baseball coach. He said, right now, my players are so spread out because we're not actually at our school. We're having to do things online and stuff. He said, we've got kids that are driving in from hotels and stuff in Lafayette, which is over 100 miles away. They're in Slidell. Some of them are in New Orleans. Some are in Baton Rouge. He said, it's really crazy because of how spread out people are. But, it's just the way it is with so much destruction and stuff that, it just, I guess you could say it's part of life right now. We're just trying to get used to it as best we can. We know it's going to be a slow recovery process, but, we're going to build it back and it's going to be stronger. We saw what happened after Katrina, everything really got hammered and, we came back stronger than ever. And I expect that to happen after this storm.
We've seen some of the damage to facilities and the photos that these leagues and schools have sent to you. Now, in terms of equipment loss, has that been a big issue as well, with individual families having destruction to their homes and with league reserves being damaged as well?
Yes. I know I've talked to a few leagues that definitely lost a good bit of equipment and a lot of schools and stuff, and lost, be it pitching machines, helmets, bats, whatever. And I know I haven't really spoken to as many parents and stuff about it because I know that they're going through a lot right now with insurance and stuff. I myself actually dropped off my truck at the body shop today, was the earliest I was able to get it in from all the damage on my truck. And, just with all the houses that were lost and things, it's not going to shock me to hear that there's so many people that lost equipment and things. And, that's the thing about sports. To an extent, it goes to the back burner, but to an extent also, it's what can pull people out of tragedy and reignite a community and bring us all together. And that's one thing that I'm really hoping that we're able to do through this campaign and stuff, is to be able to get it to where, we can get these kids back out on the field and let the parents actually cheer them on and stuff. I've always said with my job being a JO commissioner over the youth leagues and stuff, every time I see a kid smiling, coming off the field or on the field itself, what I automatically think of is, they're having so much fun right now. I don't know what happens whenever they leave that field. I don't know what their home life's like. I don't know. But at least I know right now, just that little second of them smiling and stuff, they're having a great time. And regardless of whatever else happens in their day and stuff, they were having fun. And to me, that's what matters. And that's what sports can do.
Yeah, exactly. And if you put yourself in these kids' shoes and all of the stress and adversity that they've been dealing with and that their families have had to go through, how important is it to them to be able to get back on the field and just experience a little bit of normalcy and something that is a distraction from all they've had to go through recently?
It'd be huge. It really would. Because there's a lot of kids and stuff, like I mentioned, that lost everything, lost their houses and stuff, and they're living in trailers or in hotel rooms and stuff. And I know a couple travel ball teams that have been able to get out and play and stuff from that down south area, South Louisiana. And some of the kids on the teams have lost everything. So coaches are letting them use stuff and old stuff, new stuff, whatever they can get their hands on to help them out, because they know that getting them away from that environment just for a little bit of time is well worth it, mentally and physically. Because, I mean, just in my yard alone, we have trees down. I had 18 trees go down in my area or on my property here. And we got limbs scattered all over the place and debris and stuff. Down south, it's even worse. So, these kids, that's what they're doing. They're having to help clean up as best they can and help their families. So just be able to get them on the field and stuff, try to get that little bit of normalcy back. I can't tell you how much that really would mean to them.
Then on a larger scale as well, how do you imagine that baseball and softball will help bring the communities back together just to, as a distraction from what's going on and just in general? How have you seen sports bring people together?
Well, that's easy to say because, I'm gonna go back to like football, for instance. After Hurricane Katrina, the New Orleans Saints came back, and we had a huge thing for them with the reopening of the Superdome and the rallying cry. People were able to get behind that, and the same thing goes with local high school teams and stuff. Back in 2016, my home had 3.5 feet of water in it because my area had historical flood, 1,000-year flood hit us. So my entire parish was essentially underwater, and we're right next to Baton Rouge. And my local high school softball team and basketball team are really good. And they're both of them. The court for basketball was ruined. Softball, baseball fields were underwater completely. Softball team ended up winning state that year. And I believe the basketball team did too. And, going from all the destruction, devastation and stuff, following them through the year and stuff, it really inspires the community. Because it gives them something to rally for. It gives them something to see as a goal that they can accomplish, and it's not like, all right, I'm going to clean these trees up. I'm going to try to get back to work, but I've got all this other stuff. I got to deal with the insurance adjusters and stuff. Whenever you go into baseball and softball, I mean, it's America's pastime, so just to be able to get your mind off of everything else outside of the box. I mean, that to me is the big picture. And that is what really is what we do.
Before we wrap things up, is there anything else you'd want people to know about the situation and the efforts to rebuild that are going on right now?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that I want to make sure that I mention is earlier I said, between August last year and August this year, we've just been slammed with storms. And, just in a year's time span, we had, like I said, 2 major Category 4 hurricanes. And the crazy thing about it is one of them hit the west part of the state and went up through the central part stuff. The other one hit the southeast. So essentially the entire state of Louisiana was like ground zero over the last year for storms. And not just storms, but super powerful ones. So the devastation and stuff is just so widespread. It's just unreal. And, a friend of mine was coming through the other day and she called me and she said, when I told her that the area just looks so different right now because of all the trees that are down and all the blue roofs and stuff, she said, I've seen hurricane damage and stuff, but I haven't seen anything like this. She said, it's just so unreal being up this far north, especially to see all this damage and stuff. And that's something that I really want the audience to try to get a picture of, is that I live probably 200 miles or so north of the Gulf of Mexico. And there are thousands of people that live way south of me. And you can just imagine how bad it is. If I had that kind of winds and stuff up here where I live at, imagine how much worse it was when the storm was still packing an even bigger punch coming up through those hard hit areas. You know, it's a grand scale, and it's really hard to fathom. And you know, I hope the pictures does do a good bit of justice for it, but it's nothing like seeing it firsthand. So anything and everything helps. And you know, in my area or my state, we're known for our hospitality and stuff. And one big thing I'm gonna tell you is we're very appreciative of everything. When the linemen came, we found out that they weren't being fed and stuff, good meals and things. And people that really don't have much, they banded together in communities and got what they had, and we're going out and finding these linemen that were out trying to get our power back up and feed them. And our internet was down, our telephones and internet were down for over a week. And once it came back up, people were able to get back on like social media and stuff and share, hey, this is where these crews are going to be at. Let's go help them out. Let's get them, show them, you know, how much we appreciate them. And I can tell you, everybody that is down here has the same exact feeling as me, and that is thank you. Thank you for everything, and thank you for the consideration, you know.
Wow. Well, Dakota, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and providing your insight into what's really going on in Louisiana. It's really eye-opening, and we really are hoping to be able to help you guys out the best we can. To help leagues like these recover in the aftermath of natural disasters, please make a donation to Pitchin' for Baseball and Softball's Disaster Relief Fund. For more information, visit PIFBS.org.